Hello and welcome to the iNews special edition. I am Tejaswin Alam. Let's look at the headlines first. Telangana extends the lockdown till the 29th of the month, pours good news on tipplers and brings traffic back onto the streets. Tamilnadu plays the border game again. It was walls then, it is pits now. Excise duty on fuel increased by over 10 rupees as government looks at additional revenue of 1.6 lakh crore. The Al-Qaeda comes back into news, calls for jihad against India. Are we closer to getting back to normal life? Germany and Israel seem to say yes, sir. And now for the news in detail. The Telangana government has said that it will continue the lockdown in state to contain the coronavirus outbreak till the 29th of May. 10 days after it is scheduled to end in the rest of the country. Speaking to reporters after a 7-hour cabinet meeting, Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao announced that the state government would follow central guidelines on allowing activities except those in red zones. The 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. night curfew is also set to continue across the state for the duration of the lockdown.
Follow కావాలి. ఆరోగ్య శాఖ ఎటువంటి పరిస్థితి ఉత్పన్నమైనా పూర్తి యుద్ధం చేసే స్థాయిలో సన్నద్ధంగా ఉన్నాం. బెడ్స్ అన్ని రెడీ చేసి పెట్టుకున్నాం. హాస్పిటల్స్ అన్ని సిద్ధంగా ఉన్నాయి. ఒక 25,000 మందిని వైద్యులు మరియు పారామెడికల్ సిబ్బందిని కూడా పూల్తో కూడా తయారు చేసి పెట్టినాం. సో వీఆర్ రెడీ టు ఫేస్ ఎనీ ఈవెంచువాలిటీ. కేంద్ర ప్రభుత్వం రెడ్ జోన్లో కూడా షాపులు తెరుచుకోవచ్చని ఇచ్చిండ్రు. మనం తెరవడం లేదు ఇక్కడ. హైదరాబాద్, రంగారెడ్డి, మేడ్చల్ అండ్ వికారాబాద్, గద్వాల్, సూర్యాపేట్, అది గద్వాల్ కాదు, వరంగల్ అర్బన్ అండ్ సూర్యాపేట్. వీఆర్ నాట్ ఓపెనింగ్ ఏ సింగిల్ షాప్. నో, వెరీ స్ట్రిక్ట్. ఎట్టి పరిస్థితి ఒక షాప్ కూడా ఓపెన్ చేయం. ఇక్కడ ఓపెన్ చేసేదల్లా గృహ నిర్మాణ యాక్టివిటీ కొనసాగుతుంది కాబట్టి దానికి సంబంధించిన షాపులు మాత్రం ఓపెన్ చేస్తారు. నిత్యావసర
It's liquor time again. In a move that has been borrowed from other states, the government has also decided to open liquor shops from Wednesday across all zones, red, green and orange. However, the state will not see the dramatic price hike seen in other parts of the country. The prices are set to go up by a relatively modest 15%. We still do not know if this will remain unchanged. Speaking about the decision to open liquor shops, the Chief Minister said that the state made this decision as 4 neighbouring states have opened liquor outlets, leading to illegal cross-border supplies and the increased chances of spurious liquor being supplied to unsuspecting tipplers.
అంతటా కూడా మద్యం షాపులు తెరుస్తారు. ఈ రెడ్ జోన్ జిల్లాలో కూడా తెరుస్తారు. కాకపోతే ఏంది, ఇక్కడ ఒక 15 షాపులు మాత్రం తెరవరు. కంటైన్మెంట్ జోన్స్లో 15 షాప్స్ ఉన్నాయి. 2200 ఆడ షాప్స్ ఉన్నాయి. అందులో ఒక 15 షాప్స్ మాత్రం తెరవరు, మిగిలిన షాపులను తెరుస్తారు. కానీ బార్లు, పబ్బులు, క్లబ్బులు నో. ఇటన్నీ కాస్త వాటిని అనుమతించరు.
In more good news to the tipplers, the suspended beer production will also begin again after the lockdown blow. The government has issued permission to produce beer to 4 out of 6 breweries in Telangana. It has been reported that only these 4 breweries have applied for permission. It is estimated that over 46 lakh cases of beer are produced by the breweries in Telangana each month. And in the meanwhile, the problems continue for the migrants. This time it is the students. The Telangana State Human Rights Commission (TSHRC) on Tuesday asked the government to take appropriate steps for relocation of as many as 260 people, mostly students hailing from Jammu and Kashmir, who are stuck in Hyderabad due to the lockdown. The students have said to approach the commission via email. The AP state government headed by Chief Minister Y.S. Jaganmohan Reddy has announced a financial aid of Rs 10,000 to all fishermen. The government will deposit the cash directly into the bank accounts of the almost 110,000 fishermen. This move is to alleviate the suffering of fishermen in the light of a ban on fishing that has been imposed owing to the global pandemic. The financial aid has been increased to Rs 10,000 from the earlier promised sum of Rs 4,000. With the opening of liquor stores across the city, Wednesday morning witnessed Hyderabad roads returning to post-lockdown glory. With most main roads in Hyderabad dotted with liquor stores, the sudden increase in traffic was all but expected. All the roads leading to liquor stores wore festive atmosphere, with people paying nary a care to social distancing. Thanks to Minister KCR's relaxing the norms for certain businesses, those not inclined towards alcohol have also hit the streets. Most lockdown checkposts in the city were also unmanned. It seems like the police have either given up or they do not care. And after the weeks of toiling to maintain the lockdown norms, this might have been the final affront to their efforts. We believe they are not to be blamed. But the question is, will this undo everything the lockdown has aimed to achieve? The AP Tamilnadu border is in the news again. This time, the authorities have resorted to making pits. With 2 positive cases being recorded in the border districts of AP, the Tamilnadu district collectors have ordered for pits to be dug on the Chittoor-Pichatur road to prevent the movement of traffic. This has become an obstacle to the transport of agricultural products and essential commodities. A few days earlier, Karnataka's local authorities had also built a barrier in the Karnataka border areas of Chittoor district. However, the district collectors of the border districts of AP have talked things through and had the walls pulled down. We'll keep you posted about how things play out here. It's time for a short commercial break. We'll be back with you shortly. Please stay tuned.
లాక్డౌన్ నుంచి బయటపడేందుకు లిక్కర్నే ప్రభుత్వాలు నమ్ముకున్నాయా? ఖాళీ అయిన భోషానాన్ని మద్యం అమ్మకాలతో నింపాలనుకుంటున్నాయా? 40 రోజులుగా పనులు లేకపోయినా రికార్డు స్థాయి సేల్స్ ఎలా సాధ్యమవుతున్నాయి? మద్యం ముసుగులో మహమ్మారి విస్తరిస్తే బాధ్యులెవరు? మద్యం మాయ స్పెషల్ ఫోకస్ రాత్రి 11 గంటలకు మీ iNewsలో.
జంతువులు పక్షులు ఆకలితో అలమటిస్తున్నాయి. వీధి కుక్కలు, కోతులు, పక్షులు వీటిని మనం కాపాడుకుందాం. మనం తినే ఆహారంలో కొంచెం వాటికి కేటాయిద్దాం. ఇంట్లోంచి బయటకు వెళ్ళి ఎక్కువ దూరం వెళ్లకుండా మీకు అందుబాటులో ఉన్న జంతువులకి ఆహారం, నీరు అందించండి. మనతో కలిసి ఉన్న వాటిని కాపాడుకోవాల్సిన అవసరం మనపై ఎంతైనా ఉంది.
Hello and welcome back to the iNews special edition. Karnataka on Tuesday put on hold further interstate movement of migrant workers by train hours after Chief Minister B.S. Yedurappa held a meeting and stressed the need to control unnecessary travel of workers. The move is largely to ensure that construction work and industrial work does not stop in the wake of lockdown relaxations. Earlier in the day, the state government had requested Southwestern Railways for 2 trains daily for 5 days to Danpur in Bihar. Responding to a query on Twitter on how migrant workers could return to Patna, Secretary in the Labour Department Captain Manivannan said that the state would take care of migrant workers stranded in the state. In some more petty politics, the BJP went on to attack the Congress after Rahul Gandhi's congratulatory tweet lauded 3 photojournalists from Kashmir for winning the Pulitzer. The BJP asked if the opposition party considered the valley an integral part of India. The BJP spokesperson Sambit Patra also posted some photographs which he said were taken by one of the winning photographers to ask Rahul Gandhi if they agreed with the content of the pictures. The Pulitzer Prize, which is considered the most prestigious award in journalism, has been awarded to Chani Anand, Mukhtar Khan and Dar Yassin of the Associated Press for their striking images of life in the valley. And now for some news from the flip side. The uncocking of booze barrels seems to have sent the country into quite a literal high. While the netizens are busy making memes about liquor, the nation's coffers are busy raking in the moolah. With Karnataka outdoing itself on day 2 with a revenue of close to 200 crore and Hyderabad seeing traffic-filled streets after more than a month, the netizens of India turn to making fun of our friendly neighbor Pakistan. Even as the pundits are frowning about the crowds, liquor-loving India seems to have forgotten both corona and social distancing. All we can say is 3 cheers to happiness, whichever form it comes in. The government on Tuesday evening hiked the excise duty by a record 10 rupees per litre on petrol and 13 rupees per litre on diesel to garner an additional 1.6 lakh crore revenue as it repeated its formula of not passing the gains to citizens. Retail prices of petrol and diesel, however, will not be impacted as state-owned firms will adjust them against the recent fall in oil prices. Faced with massive revenue losses during the coronavirus lockdown, which has now been extended for the second time, several state governments have been increasing VAT on fuels which are currently out of the purview of the GST. Although petrol pumps have been under the essential services category all throughout the lockdown period, yet sales have fallen drastically due to the shutting down of industries, offices and the restriction on the movement of vehicles. Petrol sales were down by 61% and diesel by 56.5% in April, but as the economy sees a staggered opening and relaxation in the lockdown norms at several places, the demand is expected to pick up this month. Although crude oil rates have plummeted more than 60%, yet the state-run fuel retailers have not been able to cut prices in the Indian market due to inventory losses and a falling demand. With this, the total incidence of excise duty on petrol has risen to 32.98 rupees per litre and rupees 31.83 for diesel. The tax on petrol was earlier 9.48 rupees per litre when the Modi government took office in 2014. Similarly, the prices for diesel were at 3.56 rupees a litre. The Al-Qaeda has urged Indian Muslims to join the Islamist Jihad while accusing India of being the part of a global war on Muslims. The call has come nearly a year after its chief Ayman al-Zawahiri asked militants in Kashmir to step in a move that will keep the privacy buffs happy. Apple and Google have announced that their coronavirus tracing technology will ban the use of location tracking. The announcement could create potential complications for some apps that plan to use the two companies' system for notifying people of potential exposure to COVID-19. The two companies also released a set of other requirements. One of the conditions restricts the permission to develop apps only to government health authorities. Another key change is that user consent is required before sharing positive test results with public health authorities. The final and the most welcome change for most privacy conscious people is that data collection must now be minimized and used only for health response. Other uses of data is absolutely banned. It cannot be used for targeted advertising or policing. How far the governments follow these guidelines is absolutely anybody's guess. In some positive news, Germany and Israel are delivering us good news. A study based on extensive calculations using supercomputer simulations has thrown up some interesting results. Several drugs approved for the treatment of hepatitis C have been identified as potential candidates against the COVID-19. Researchers from Johann Gutenberg University of Mainz in Germany used the powerful Mogon 2 supercomputer, which made more than 30 billion calculations to find that compounds from 4 hepatitis C drugs may be able to prevent the COVID-19 infection. The results are also supported by the fact that both the coronavirus and the hepatitis C virus are of the same type. The researchers also added that a natural substance from the Japanese honeysuckle, which has been used in Asia against various other diseases for some time now, might be another strong candidate against the virus. As for Israel, Defense Minister Naftali Bennett has said that the Israel Institute of Biological Research achieved a significant breakthrough in the search for an antidote to COVID-19. The minister said that the institute had effectively isolated the antibody that attacks and neutralizes the COVID-19 virus in the carrier's bodies. According to Reuters, a monoclonal antibody like the one developed in Israel is obtained from a single recovered cell. The benefit of a monoclonal antibody is that it potentially has more power in yielding a treatment. Reports say that a few clinical trials have already been conducted. Both these are significant breakthroughs that take us closer to a cure and to getting back to our normal lives after several months of being under lockdown. That's all from us for now. Please stay tuned, stay home and stay safe. We'll be back with you shortly.